So it occurred to me this morning that Nanowrimo is right around the corner. And I have realized I have no idea what I am going to write for Nanowrimo. I have no clue. I mean, I've got like so many story ideas. I don't know which one I'm going to pick. So this is going to be fun. So I'm assuming if you're watching this, you know what Nanowrimo is, but just in case there's that one person who's watching this video that doesn't know, Nanowrimo is National Novel Writing Month. It takes place every year in the month of November, and the goal is to write 50,000 words in 1 month. And it's pretty hard. I mean, there's some people that are like really amazing at it, but I'm kind of a slow writer, so it's a little hard for me. So I've only done Nanowrimo 2 times, which is kind of surprising. You would think with me, I'm always writing something, so you would think I would have done it more than 2 times, but I've actually only done it twice. The first time I did NaNoWriMo, it was years ago. I want to say it was like maybe 2008, 2009, 2010, somewhere like around in that time. I think I heard about it from some writer friends of mine, and at that time I had started my first novel, but I'd only really written a little bit of it, and really at that time I was just more concerned about writing fan fiction than anything else. That's pretty much all I wrote, like all the time. And so I decided for NaNoWriMo I would write a fan fiction, and that fan fiction was so bad that I decided not to even post it. And it wasn't that I don't think the writing quality was bad. It was just the story idea itself was kind of like in the fandom that I was writing in, it was kind of like a cliche story. It had just been overdone like too many times, and there were like 100 other stories just like that, and I was like, no, I'm not gonna add another story to that, you know. And I didn't even finish that fan fiction. I got the 50,000 words. I did do that, but I didn't even finish it, and I ended up using bits and pieces of that story for another story. So that was my first experience with NaNoWriMo. And then after that, I didn't do it anymore for a long time. I mean, I think there were some times in there when I was kind of taking a break from writing. So then the second time I did NaNoWriMo was last year. Now last year at that time I was in the middle of querying, and I had 2 novels, or maybe it was 3 novels. Anyway, I had some novels that I had finished that were, you know, in first draft stage, and, you know, of course the ones I was querying. But I had this idea, it was around August. I had this idea for a young adult contemporary story. And I had about maybe 15,000 words that I wrote in August and September. So then in October, I got in a car accident. And that entire month of October was just, I didn't hardly get, there was like no writing that was done. Very little writing. It was a very hard and stressful month for me, and I felt bad. So that was just not a good month. And then it was just like, after that, like I kind of ran out of steam, and it was like, I'm not getting any writing done whatsoever. So I didn't even think about, I wasn't even thinking about NaNoWriMo, but I was on Twitter, and like everybody kept talking about NaNoWriMo, NaNoWriMo, NaNoWriMo. And I guess I just decided, what the heck, why don't I just do it? You know, maybe I will, you know, maybe it'll just, you know, give me the, you know, maybe it'll just encourage me to finish that story that I had started. And so it was the last day of October, and I went ahead and did it. I signed up for NaNoWriMo, And it was really hard. It was so hard. I was able to do it, but I had to give up a lot of TV shows. I mean, I had to give up Grey's Anatomy. I had to give up This Is Us. The only show I didn't give up was General Hospital, but that's because I watch it on Hulu, and if I don't watch it, then the episode expires and goes away, and then I can't watch it anymore. So, but I gave up like all of my other TV shows, and then like after NaNoWriMo, of course, then that was when I got to catch up on all my shows. But you have to, if you want to do NaNoWriMo, you have to make a sacrifice. You have to give up something, and it's really hard when you have a full-time job and you're writing at the same time. And I just can only imagine how hard it must be for those of you who are parents. Like, that's got to be really hard, you know. Like, where do you find time to write? It's hard getting those 50,000 words in, and if you don't get those 50,000 words in, I don't think you should feel guilty. I think the main thing about NaNoWriMo is not if you get 50,000 words, but if it just gets you writing. You know, if it just gets you back in that writing mood, then I think you can call that a successful NaNoWriMo, even if you don't get the 50,000 words, as long as you get your writing done. So now it brings me back to what am I going to write for NaNoWriMo? And oh my God, I have no idea. I have got 3, maybe 4 ideas of stories I want to write. I may even have another one depending on if my muse just gives me a random idea, because sometimes that happens. Sometimes I will be all set to write one story, and then my muse kind of like taps me on the shoulder and like whispers this new idea in my head, and then I just go off on that. Like, I just have to write that idea before I forget it. And so that's happened before. So we'll see. So here are my choices. Here are my options for NaNoWriMo. I could finish my Anna series. So the Anna series is 4 stories. I've got stories 1 and 2. The first story is the 6th grade story. The second story is the 7th grade story. The third is the summer story, which I'm working on right now. And then the 4th story and the final story is the 8th grade story. So depending on how much I get done of the summer story, if I get that done, which I'm thinking I probably won't get that done before NaNoWriMo, but if I get that done before NaNoWriMo, then maybe I will work on the 8th grade story. And the 8th grade story, these stories they're like upper middle grade, young adult. They're not going to be that long. So 50,000 might be it. That might be it for the story. So I might do that. I might just use the opportunity to finish up the summer story. And then maybe if I finish that, well, I don't think I think once I finish that story, I don't think it's going to take 50,000 words to finish that story. I could probably finish it in less, because I've already got like, I don't even know how many words I've got in that story. I think I've got 10,000 words in that story right now. I have to look it up. But I may just use that month to work on the summer story and then start on the 8th grade story. All right, so that's one option. Then the second option is I could start on the Rachel and Chase story, this is a romance, and it's the first story in the series that I'm working on. Now, it's funny because I actually have 2 stories in this series already done, and yet now I'm writing the first story. What happened was I wrote the Matt and Sarah story, and there was a character in that story named Rachel, and she was pregnant, and I really loved this character. She just had a very, very brief appearance in this story, and I thought, I think I'm going to write her story one day. Then I wrote another story, the Zach and Amanda story, and then I wrote this character named Chase, And he just has kind of, you know, just brief appearances here and there. He's not a major character in that story. But I knew Rachel and Chase were together. And so then after I finished the Zach and Amanda story, I was like, oh my God, you know, I really need to write the Rachel and Chase story. Because this comes first. Because, I mean, obviously in story 3, she's already pregnant. So I'm going to work, maybe I'll work on the Rachel and Chase story. I don't know. I've already got like 15,000 words done in that story. So I might do that one. The third story idea I have that I might do is my Storm Chaser story. And this is also a romance, and it's a story about these storm chasers, these rival meteorologists. And this is going to be a fun story for me. I am such a weather geek, like you just don't know. Like I remember Jim Cantori, like when he had hair. I love the Weather Channel. I don't have the Weather Channel right now because I don't have cable. I so miss the Weather Channel. But yeah, I'm such a weather geek. And so this idea of like writing about these meteorologists like chasing tornadoes, like I'm so excited about this story. And I have this whole story like planned out. I mean, like, you know, the major plot points, not like every single detail. So I might work on that one. Like, I just don't know. So yeah, I've got like so many options. So it's either the Anna story, you know, the summer story, or the 8th grade story, or maybe both. Then it's the Rachel and Chase story, and then maybe it's the Storm Chaser story. So I really don't know. I guess maybe I'll wait till it gets a little closer to November, and maybe I'll decide what I want to do. So yeah, I'm really excited about Nanowrimo though. I'm hoping it'll encourage me to get back into my daily writing routine. I've kind of been out of my writing routine lately because I've been working on editing. Right now I'm editing the YA contemporary that I worked on last Nanowrimo, because I finished it. And, well, I say I finished it, but it's not really finished because I'm still working on edits. And that's the one I think that I'm going to publish first. It is about this, it's about this teenage girl, and her mother is a compulsive hoarder. And I've always wanted to write a story about a compulsive hoarder. Like, I'm like addicted to those, like, hoarder shows and like Buried Alive. Like, I don't know why. I think watching those shows makes me feel better about my own house when it's messy. Like, at least my house is not that bad. but I don't know. I've always wanted to write a character that, you know, with the hoarder. So I came up with this idea about this teenage girl and like how does she help her mom. So I'm really excited about this story. And I'm going to publish that story. I'm making it a goal now. I'm going to publish it next year. I have to go through more edits, and I have to try to see about getting an audiobook done, because I think I'm definitely going to do an audiobook. So yeah, so maybe whatever story I work on this NaNoWriMo, maybe by next year I will be ready to get that one published. Who knows? So I'll keep you updated and let you know what one I decide to do. And so yeah, let's get those 50,000 words in. All right, so well, if you're participating in NaNoWriMo, good luck to you, and see you next time. Bye.